has a strong presence in all societies because it's like stubbing your toe, inevitable and painful. Cultures around the world have very different beliefs and practices concerning death. Some preserve the body, either out of respect for the person or to maintain its integrity for the voyage into the afterlife. Some honor their spirit while discarding the body through burning or decay, and certain subcultures sit and watch their door, waiting for the deceased to barge through it so their zombie apocalypse preparations are justified. While the third category is the most topical, let's focus on the first one. For those practicing preservation, undertakers are an absolute necessity for their society to function. No matter the custom of movement from this life to the next, the physical removal of the body is always going to be an issue, and it's best left to someone specifically designated to do that task, even if not all undertakers throughout history were known for their professionalism. Anyone that's read Stiff knows what I'm talking about. It's one of the hardest professions, since funeral directors are both salesmen and counselors to their clients, and must be convincing in both roles. It's a delicate practice, balancing respect with business, efficiency with care, and the death that created the event with the life that preceded it. Too much weight on either side of the equation, and emotions become unbalanced. With all of these factors, as well as the sensitive subject matter, creating a film on this topic in a tasteful and engaging way would be nearly impossible. However, television gave us an answer. 6 Feet Under. The other, and in so many ways better, television series by Alan Ball, 6 Feet Under follows the Fisher family as they run a traditional funeral home based out of their own house. It explores the interpersonal relationships that form within the family and with others outside their practice, as well as the effects a single death has on so many different situations. Now, while I could try to explain the entire series in 20 minutes, to do so I'd have to talk like a chipmunk. I mean, more so than usual. So instead, I'll just hit the main points of the first season. Meet the Fishers: Ruth, the nice enough until pushed housewife; David, the busybody of the house; Claire, the artistic teenager that gives the world the finger; and Nate, the eternal drifter. There is one other member of the family, Nathaniel the father, but as you find out in the pilot, he's a short-lived influence. Not to say he's unimportant, he just doesn't live very long. The events of the entire series are actually caused by his death, since he was the head of the funeral home. Now it's David at the helm, and he's totally ready to take on that responsibility.
Yes.
Okay, maybe not. He went to school for this particular line of work. Not his first choice, but he felt it his duty to carry on the family business to another generation. We find this out from the conversation he has with his dead father. What is it with Michael C. Hall talking to dead father figures? Does he know that's not normal? Nate took off in his earlier days before the business could really snag him, and he's only back because he was visiting for Christmas. Yes, their father died on Christmas Eve's day. This show has a dark sense of humor. Unfortunately, the corporate sponsors say we need a commercial break. See you after the plug.
Sleek, sophisticated, seductive. The new Millennium Edition Crown Royal Funeral Coach. Because your loved one deserves the very best in style and comfort.
Man, I kind of want a hearse now. Weird. Their father's will states that Nate and David are both going to be the new owners of the business, which makes neither of them happy. Nate, while he has a natural empathy for others' suffering, knows nothing about being a funeral director. And David, while highly trained in all parts of the work, has no natural knack for comforting others. Perhaps these traits are accented by certain underlying problems. Nate avoided coming into the business because he fears death. David dove into it wholeheartedly by becoming numb to life. Which is the better viewpoint for a character to have? Let's do an opinion poll.
And after successfully picking the lock, inside the chest you find an orb of annihilation. It envelops you all and kills you very slowly and very painfully.
What?
You leave me locked up in the basement for a month, you get the Tomb of Horrors. Cause and effect. Oh, by the way, Soch, can I see your character sheet?
Sure.
Thanks. Now we're even.
Okay then. What's bugging you?
Oh, nothing at all. Just, you left me in a basement for a month!
Oh my god, that's where you've been!
Are you insane? You showed clips of me tied up in the basement. How did you not see that?
Wait, since when do you have a basement?
Never mind. What do you want?
We're talking about 6 Feet Under today, and I was wondering...
About the inevitability of death? Well now, that is an interesting question. Death has a long and proud history. From the first dungeon crawls, to the MMORPG party wipes that so many cry about online. Depending on the game, the death may or may not stick, as those with enough platinum can testify. Death can be overhyped easily, and most characters will go to great lengths to try and avoid it. But it is the end of every character, and let's face it, if the story never ends, then what's the point?
Hold it! Damn, you just seized like the players as like a means to be all getting like that big old picture that you painting.
That's why they're here. For the campaign.
You live alone! Man, you've been behind that DM screen way too long. You need to come out and smell the flowers. We'll get into character, yo. Hacking and slashing the invisible baddies, cause it's fun. Without the character, there is no story. And sometimes one guy dying can just kill the whole thing.
Cut that sentimental crap. Not every person's like this.
How much does Freelick get?
It's a trap.
No.
The pit is filled with sharp, gem-encrusted spikes. Freelick, the fanatic of Glossamere, is impaled and dies.
The campaign continues whether or not every character makes it through. Deal with it.
Sure, so he can go on without a character, but like his experience has like had an effect on the world. And now that he's gone, it's like an emptier place and it's not the same.
Guys,
What?
I'm talking about real death, like the funeral kind.
Oh, now we are on a completely different page in a whole other book, yo. While it sucks at the time, death is a part of life. And every time someone leaves it, it's like a relief for that person, especially if they were suffering.
Kelvin, you got it backwards again. Real death and character death are worlds apart. When someone dies IRL, it's always permadeath, and everything that person did with their life only continues on through others.
But you forget, yo, death is a natural part of life. Like how my people died in the Ebonics plague, yo. It's like, it has to happen, and if it doesn't, then the story can't end.
But their story never ends because of the lives that they touched and the influence that they had on the world.
Okay, I'm just confused now.
Well, that's because you ain't got your doctorate yet because you haven't passed my class. Speaking of which, when you coming back, you've missed like 3 quizzes.
No, I mean, you both have the same viewpoints that get entirely reversed based on the situation.
Yeah, but how is that different from any normal reaction to death?
Wow. Great point.
Like I ever don't make one?
Sure, let's go with that.
Thank you guys for helping illustrate that.
You're welcome.
Wait, when did I help you draw something?
Hey, Professor, that is Professor Kelvin. I believe I saw your cleric, yes, your cleric walking into the tomb.
No, you don't, yo. Clear!
So while the Fishers receive a realignment of their perspectives on death, it's business as usual for their gifted restorative artist Rico. That's fancy talk for the guy that dolls up the body. He takes real pride in his work. Maybe too much.
Blank in the head, right? Then turned it around and shot himself in the mouth. Some seriously close casket, right? Now look at this. Huh? Ha ha! Like the bride and groom on top of a cake.
Touching. He should write pamphlets for the business, or better yet, some commercials. Oh God, speaking of, gotta take another commercial break.
For a body that's firm, yet flexible. For skin that begs to be touched. For the velvety appearance of actual living tissue. Top morticians rely on Living Splendor embalming fluid. Living Splendor. Only real life is better.
Okay, that one was just creepy. Rico is extraordinarily talented in restoring bodies for viewing, even if they come in pieces. And he knows he's worth more than the Fishers pay him. He wants to stay if they can offer him better, say a partnership in the business, because he's one of their most valuable assets. While Nate has the emotional front covered and David dabbles in both customers and restoration, Rico is the miracle worker that allows the place to stand out above the competition. He'd be a great third leg for the funeral home to stand on. Unfortunately, nepotism denies him. That's a fairly common practice in family businesses, where key roles are handed down from parent to child. However, when someone behind the scenes in this particular line of work can turn this back into this, there is no reason to deny him an opportunity to invest in your business. He's got a gift. So the mechanisms are all in place, and the Fishers start to recognize the unique package they're offering. While other funeral homes are focused more on the bottom line and processing as many intakes as possible, the brothers focus more on bringing each individual funeral to its best conclusion, both emotionally and financially, for each of the bereaved. Yes, making profits still matters, but they try to keep that as a background to their work. Decadence is there for those who seek it, but a kind hand is offered to any that walk through the door, measured carefully for the amount of comfort they require for this most difficult time. Every facet of the modern funeral is used but not abused, and that's a major reason why 6 Feet Under is totally worth the trip.
Stop right there!
Can I help you?
Are you seriously going to end it here?
Well, I made my case about the series' core theme and how well it excelled at stating that theme, so...
Oh, but you forgot a key element.
And that is, what again?
Why are you reviewing this?
Well, because it's about funeral homes and it accurately describes...
And I'm sure that's what went through your mind while you watched it. Now tell me, why are you reviewing this?
Okay, evil dictator, you obviously know something that I don't.
You watched it and reviewed it because you like it.
Well, yeah, that's a given.
Did you like it because of the funeral homes or because of the people that worked in the funeral homes?
Oh, I kind of see what you're saying here.
If you don't convey to people why they should invest any time in this family, then why would they bother?
They wouldn't.
Exactly. Now tell your people why they should love the characters and make them believe it.
I will. Thank you, dictator.
Please, call me Dick.
Sure thing. Dick's right. There's a much larger reason to watch this, and it's the incredible relationships that develop between the characters. Each family member brings a unique perspective to the table. Claire, for instance, accepts the change the fastest and perhaps best in the first season, since she sees her father's passing as his escape from the banality of life.
No more responsibility.
No more having to care.
No more boredom!
When she's not busy grieving, she does a great job of being a typical teenager. Take this breakfast scene, for instance.
No, they don't.
Good morning.
What's going on with you?
Nothing.
What a little moonlight can do.
Huh, that's a little out of nowhere. Like if an episode of House suddenly had Wilson and House hunting each other down through the hospital with paintball guns while wearing tuxes. Wait a second. What season did that happen in? Each character has a vivid fantasy life, which the audience thankfully gets to see. That shared visual within their mind creates a connection better than anything else, because those same fleeting thoughts are a part of everyone's day. They're the small distractions that make us human beings and not operating systems. And on that distraction note, last commercial break. I'm not sure what to expect either.
Are you tired of sloppy, cut-rate funerals? You've tried the rest. Now try the best. The Plots R Us mortuary service. Remember, there's always plenty of free parking. And don't forget to visit our new salad bar.
I kind of like that one. The whimsy is kept present but downplayed as this family tries to find its new place in the world. Each episode filled with realistic growth and irrational decisions that make people so much fun to watch. And that's the complete picture of 6 Feet Under. Dark, clever, engaging, and funny when you least expect it, all while tackling the tricky topic of funeral practices. The opening season deals with the first of many changes that will befall this funeral home, and throughout much of its run, the characters resist adopting this new definition of life. However, when the spectral father ascends the staircase as his family gathers in celebration, it's the sign that they, as a whole, have finally stepped into this new phase. They start to accept the fact that change is going to happen and... strange. Huh. Oh, good. They didn't change the poster. Whew. As I was saying, change is inevitable, and anyone unwilling to accept that is doomed to be left behind as the new world happens. I'm the other Socio, and don't cut my hair!
I'll be buried in the same old way, but probably not for years. Yeah, I'll be buried in the same old way, from TV, whiskey, and beer. Got respect for the sleepers, but the sleepers are dead.
But their story never ends because of the lives they touched and their continuing influence on the world that they touched. They touched the world. They touched the world, man! World. Show me on the doll where the man touched you.